Thanks for joining us for 2 News at 5 tonight. I'm Heidi Hatch, live on Main Street in Salt Lake City in the 300 block, where last night around 9 o'clock a fire started just behind me in the London Belle. 5 businesses surrounding it lost in this fire, and that means hundreds of people without their jobs. Today, fire investigators have been out here looking through the rubble, trying to figure out exactly how this fire started and how it quickly spread to so many other businesses. We do know that everyone inside made it out okay, but 3 firefighters were on the scene, were injured in all of this. There's a lot to get to tonight. We do have team coverage for you. We have Natalie Wattis, who spoke to business owners who are already looking at the possibilities of rebuilding and trying to get back into business. We want to begin, though, with Leslie Duarte, who is looking at the very latest on this investigation and how long this could possibly take. Leslie.
Heidi, indeed, we'll get to that in just a moment, but I want to show you what is happening. Just within the last 10 minutes, fire crews arrived to the scene because there was some smoldering in that middle building, and right now they are putting water on those hot spots. This again happening within the last few minutes. You can see from where we're looking at all the extensive damage. The roof completely collapsed, the buildings absolutely destroyed, and still, nearly hours later, this is still causing some trouble for firefighters as it posed some challenges for them last night.
We were quite fortunate that we were able to stop the fire where we did.
Today, locals reliving happy memories. Sad to see popular places gone.
Definitely heartbreaking. Whiskey Street is fantastic. White Horse is one of my favorite restaurants of all time.
And I just feel so sorry for all of the owners, and you know, it's just devastation across the board for each one of them.
Now investigators are shifting through debris and the sidewalk is blocked off. The damage extensive, but no loss of life.
1 firefighter sustained a broken ankle. 1 firefighter who has smoke inhalation, dehydration, nausea, who felt sick on scene. We also had a 3rd firefighter who sustained some minor injuries from debris that fell from the roof, from the water weight, and was trapped for a brief period of time.
The fire department says a possible reason the fire may have spread was through the ceiling. I asked if the building had sprinklers.
The buildings did have safety precautions within the kitchen area per code, so just over the grill area, but generally the entire building is not sprinklered.
Locals say.
So hopefully they're able to rebuild quickly and figure out exactly what failed here.
The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Reporting live in Salt Lake City, Heidi, I'll toss it back to you.
All right, Leslie, thank you. It certainly was a scary scene for everyone involved last night, firefighters included. Usually that smoke rises. Last night here on Main Street, it socked in like a dense fog, except for it was nasty smoke. It was tough to breathe. It was tough to see and even see exactly what was happening here on the ground. Business owners were out here watching and hoping their businesses made it through. We do know today, though, 5 of them were lost. But those businesses say they're not down and they're not out. They will rebuild. Tonight, Natalie Wattis spoke to them about the loss for their businesses, but also how they're looking towards the future.
Well, Heidi, if you take a look behind me here, I'm in the front of the building. You just saw from Leslie the back of the building, but you can still see the debris and just the destruction that this fire caused. Roofs have collapsed in these buildings here, and there's extensive water damage. Now, the business owner of Whiskey Street and White Horse told me it's probably around $6 million in damages and losses they're looking at. He told me 150 people are out of work now just at his businesses alone because of this fire. But as you mentioned, he said they're not going to let this keep them down. They're going to try to rebuild as quickly as possible here. And the Downtown Alliance also says Main Street is not losing these staple businesses.
This is ground zero of our entertainment district. I've heard people speculating about, oh, it'll be an office tower. I don't see that happening in this location. First, the commitment of these families to these locations. But second, just the next tower will be built somewhere else, and I just want to put that to rest. First, the commitment of these families to these locations. But second, just the next tower will be built somewhere else, and I just want to put that to rest.
Now, coming up tonight at 6, hear directly from that business owner I mentioned about how the block is moving forward and just how long it'll take. For now, live in downtown Salt Lake City, Natalie Wattis, KUTV, 2 News. Heidi, back to you.
All right, Natalie, thank you. One of those businesses lost was Whiskey Street, and this actually used to be called Whiskey Street. It changed in the early 1900s, but Brigham Young originally called this Whiskey Street because this is where all the drinking establishments were. Hopefully we'll see that nightlife coming back. We want to talk a little bit about what that will take. Nick Norris, planning director with Salt Lake City, is joining us tonight. Thanks so much for being here.
Of course.
When people look at this, I think they instantly think, why aren't the business owners going in there with garbage cans and cleaning up the mess and getting going? There's a process to all this.
Yeah, sure. Obviously, first the fire department has to finish their investigation as to what happened. And then after that's done, then we can start moving forward with property owners on what that rebuilding process looks like. Luckily for situations like this, it's really easy to rebuild, especially when you want to rebuild what was already there. So all it requires is for them to get a building permit. They obviously have to deal with their insurance companies and everything else. And that can be a lengthy process. So we don't know when that will start, but like I said, the good thing is the city wants to be as supportive as possible to the building owners, the businesses, and try to get this block as vibrant and active as it was before the fires.
Which is good news, I'm sure, for business owners, because oftentimes you're ready to go, but sometimes you're waiting for the city to get someone to come check on something. So the city's ready to help on that. When we look at wildfires, different kinds of fires, you look at Los Angeles or Maui, and a year, 2 years after the fact, still nothing's being done. Realistically, how soon do you think that people will start to see that rebuilding process here?
Well, it'll probably be multiple months, several months, I would say, just because you have to get cleared, obviously, with the fire department. If these buildings are a total loss, which it looks like they are, they'd have to be demolished and cleared and everything else. Then you go through getting your plans drawn up and the building permits, and then you can start construction. And that does take some time.
Are there any special rules for this area? Because between 1909 and 1920 is when this was all built up in Salt Lake City. So historic nature, do they have any historic guidelines they have to go by when they rebuild? They
don't. So actually these buildings don't have any sort of historic protection on them like some other parts of the city do. So they do have some what's called non-complying rights.
Yeah.
So they can rebuild back exactly how it was using modern equipment, modern materials, and things like that. And that's the easiest, quickest path. If they want to do something else, that might trigger some new rules because it might be different buildings and things like that. But we'll just have to wait and see what the property owners want to end up doing. Will
a new build be safer and better for a fire in the future, or were they already built to the highest standards when they came in here?
Well, a lot of it depends on what the construction materials are, and frankly, all the materials that get added inside, the tables, the chairs, and things like that. Obviously, the less combustible materials that are used, the safer the building is from fires.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing is they'll have modern fire protection systems in place, which a lot of older buildings have maybe older systems that don't meet current standards and things like that.
Last question really quickly before you go. If you could give us a number or a date of when people could be back here with their friends, toasting over dinner and having a good time, when do you think that might be?
Oh, I would say, this is a total guess, but I would think 18 months is probably the fastest we're going to see something like that.
All right, we'll mark it on our calendar and check back with you then. Thank you so much for joining us right now. Again, we're live on Salt Lake City's historic piece of Main Street here, where 5 businesses are going through the process right now of trying to figure out of what happens next. We want to go back into the newsroom right now and Brian Schnee.
Heidi, thank you very much. We'll take it from here. Let's take a closer look now at some of the video that we've actually gotten over the last 24 hours or so. This first video is a time lapse from our very own roof camera, which is just about a block north. Last night as the fire broke out around 9 o'clock, crews were responding to the scene here. We'll bring it full for you. Now taking a closer look at some of the video from downtown Salt Lake City last night. This was all between about 9:30 and 11 o'clock last night. Taking a look now at some more video which shows a time lapse here in that smoke plume, the column there that you see just as we get into the evening hours. The smoke from above the Salt Lake area, that time lapse showing the moment that it really kicked into gear here and lasted for a few hours. And now looking at some of the damage that is from earlier today. This video from this morning showing crews cleaning up the debris and putting out hot spots. And finally, new drone video from our team here at 2 News showing the damage from above. And as we've reported, 5 businesses here were destroyed by the flames, including Los Tapatillos, London Belle, White Horse, and Whiskey Street. Eva Restaurant also on that list, sustaining some smoke and water damage. It's estimated that the fire caused about $5 million in damage. So stay with 2 News for the latest information on the Main Street fire here as we talk about downtown Salt Lake City. You can read all of our coverage on our website, KUTV.com. Be sure to download the 2 News mobile app to have push alerts sent directly to your phone.